We're talking to Rod TUAZON, who's a realtor broker, and we're getting a lot of information, definitely answering the questions that you've mailed in to me, and I'm so happy that he has the time to spare today for community service. Now, Rod, let's talk about buying. When a person buys a property, whether it's single-family home, townhome, or condo, do you normally have to have it inspected before you finally, settle to buy?
Oh yes, well as a broker realtor, it's my fiduciary duty to make sure that I counsel my buyers to get a home inspection of the property.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very minimal investment, but at least you will be able to see or identify anything that could potentially be a danger to the property before you actually buy it. It's a small investment. If you're buying a $500,000 property, 1% of that cost is very minimal to get a home inspector.
Mm-hmm. And could it also be a part? Yes. I know. And Rod, is it?
Unless you are a general contractor and you already know, you have experience to be able to inspect it yourself.
And it's also a possibility that you can have a lower price if, for example, the seller is not doing anything about it. Then you say, okay, let's lower it by another 2,000.
There's always a chance of renegotiate the price because the home inspector revealed that there's some major faulty wiring inside the walls, but I'm not going to ask you to fix it. Just give me a credit.
Oh, by the way, there's a question here. Is it better to buy a townhome compared to a condo? What's the difference?
A townhome is usually a two-level home that is sitting. A condo normally, either it's a 1, 2, or 3-story condo where you occupy space in that level.
And a townhome can build more equity compared to a condo?
Usually because you don't have anyone living downstairs or upstairs. You pretty much occupy the actual space up.
But is it a better investment that you can rent it out to as easy as a condominium?
Yeah, because it's usually townhome is bigger. So it accommodates more and it has more rooms. A condo usually comes with a 1-bedroom or 2 bedrooms, sometimes a 3 bedroom. But a townhome could potentially have up to 4 bedrooms.
Now, here's another question. Someone who is considering, okay, let me read this one. Somebody who would like to buy it in cash because actually the family, they have retired, husband and wife. But so they don't have income except receiving their benefits, their social security benefits. They said, can they still apply for a loan to buy another property and just saying what they earn from their social security benefits? Is that true? Can they do that?
Of course, social security is considered income.
So even though they're not working anymore and that's just SSS, and so depends on how much property they're buying?
Yes, yeah. So that is the social security, any kind of retirement, and even disability income are considered income. As long as they're consistent, there's income that comes to you every month.
So if if they have to buy a property then wherein they will have to pay a mortgage, that will be affordable for them depending on how much they have?
That will be affordable for them based on their income, correct.
But can they also make use of what they have saved up as part of the evidence that they have money?
As a down payment, yeah.
I see.
If they put a down payment, then the lesser income they have to prove.
I see. Wow, but still a lot of documentation because this couple, they don't want to go into much of processing anymore, of paperwork, etc. Will they still undergo a lot of processing of papers, evidence, documentation?
They do. I don't think it's exorbitant that enough for them to be able to be buggled with the documentation process. It's almost the same as anyone else who's applying. They just probably have to prove because they're providing almost the same documentation. They're providing social security income as opposed to their W-2, so it's almost pretty much the same. It's the same process. There should not be anything more or less than what they're required to do.
So would you advise them to buy not in cash but to apply for a mortgage?
if they have enough cash in the bank and they don't need the cash, then put just go ahead and pay the cash. Just pay cash.
I see.
But
Okay.
if they need the cash somewhere else, then I would not advise them to use all the cash, because obviously they need to put they need to be able to set aside something for emergency.
That's right. How much emergency though normally you advise? You're also a financial expert, so give that information.
I usually I usually keep at least 1 year of expenses that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if you have $10,000 of expenses, including mortgage, everything else that you need to spend, I probably would need at least $120,000 in the bank.
Mm-hmm. And
Usually they only require 6 months, but I'm conservative, and I just want to make sure everything's covered, so you should put it up to a year.
right, right.